Are we consuming energy in a way that's sustainable for our planet? It's a question that's been echoing around the world, growing louder with each passing year. Our global energy landscape is a complex one. It's a mosaic of sources from fossil fuels like coal, oil and natural gas to nuclear power and a smattering of renewable energy technologies. Yet despite the diversity of this energy mix, it's the non-renewable resources that dominate the scene. In the grand scheme of things, we're heavily reliant on these non-renewable resources. We're burning through fossil fuels at an alarming rate, depleting reserves that took millions of years to form. This over-reliance is a bit like living paycheck to paycheck, except there's no next paycheck waiting for us. Once these reserves are gone, they're gone for good. But the depletion of these resources isn't the only concern. There's another arguably more pressing issue at hand: the environmental implications of our consumption patterns. Every time we burn fossil fuels, we're pumping carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, contributing to a phenomenon known as global warming. This in turn is driving the broader issue of climate change, with potentially catastrophic consequences. From rising sea levels to more frequent and intense weather events, the impacts of climate change are wide-ranging and far-reaching. It's not just a matter of hotter summers or colder winters, it's about the fundamental changes to the ecosystems we rely on, the disruption of agricultural patterns and the increased risk of extreme weather events like hurricanes and droughts. So, where do we go from here? Well, it's clear that we can't continue down this path indefinitely. We need to shift our focus to pivot away from non-renewable resources and towards more sustainable options. And that's where renewable energy comes in. Renewable energy technologies, from solar and wind to hydro and geothermal, offer the potential for a more sustainable, more resilient energy future. They're not just alternatives to fossil fuels, they're lifelines offering us a way to break free from the shackles of non-renewable resources. With the potentially disastrous consequences of our current consumption patterns, the shift towards renewable energy seems not just essential but inevitable. The story of renewable energy isn't a recent one. It's been unfolding over centuries. Long before the age of fossil fuels, humanity harnessed the power of nature in remarkable ways. Picture the windmills of old, their sails spinning in the breeze. They were the forerunners of today's wind turbines, using the power of the wind to grind grain and pump water. The concept is essentially the same, only today we use it to generate electricity. Then there were the water wheels, the powerhouse of the ancient world. They utilized the energy of flowing or falling water for various tasks, such as milling flour, crushing ores, and even powering early industrial machinery. This ingenuity was the precursor to the hydroelectric dams we see today, generating power from the force of water. And let's not forget the sun, that ancient giver of life. Civilizations like the Greeks and Romans used passive solar design in their architecture to heat and light their structures. This was an early form of the solar power we know today, harnessing the radiant heat and light from the sun to produce energy. But the real game changer came with the discovery of electricity. When Michael Faraday invented the electric dynamo in the early 19th century, he set the stage for the electric age. His work, along with that of many others, led to the creation of the first power stations, and eventually to the development of renewable energy technologies. So you see, our journey towards renewable energy began with the simple observation of the natural world, with the wind, water, and sun. Over the centuries, our understanding of these elements and our ability to harness their power has evolved, leading us to where we are today. The windmills, water wheels, and sun-bathed structures of old may seem primitive by today's standards, but they were the stepping stones that paved the way for the modern renewable energy industry. These early innovations marked the beginning of a long journey towards a more sustainable future. The last few decades have seen an explosion in the development and adoption of renewable energy technologies. The landscape of power generation has been transformed dramatically, largely due to the rise of modern renewable energy technologies. Among the most notable players in this arena are solar, wind, and hydroelectric power. Each of these technologies has its own unique strengths and contributions, yet they all share a common goal: to harness the power of nature in a sustainable, environmentally friendly way. Solar power, for instance, has become a poster child for renewable energy. Thanks to technological breakthroughs, solar panels are now more efficient, affordable, and accessible than ever before. They're popping up on rooftops, in fields, even floating on bodies of water, transforming sunlight directly into electricity and providing a clean, green source of power. Wind energy, too, has been making waves, quite literally. From towering turbines on land to massive wind farms offshore, harnessing the power of the wind has become a major industry. Innovations in turbine design and materials have made them more efficient and less expensive, enabling their widespread adoption. Hydroelectric power, while one of the oldest forms of renewable energy, has also seen significant advancements. Modern hydro plants, with their impressive dams and powerful turbines, are capable of generating vast amounts of electricity. Plus, with the advent of technologies like pumped storage hydroelectricity, we can now store excess power for later use. These advancements, however, would not have been possible without the right policies in place. Governments worldwide have recognized the importance of renewable energy and have implemented policies to encourage its development and adoption. From subsidies and tax incentives to renewable energy targets and mandates, these policy changes have played a critical role in facilitating the growth of renewable energy. It's a fascinating journey, watching these technologies rise from their humble beginnings to become major players in the global energy scene. Yet, as thrilling as this progress has been, we must remember that we are still in the early stages of this journey. Despite the progress made, the journey is far from over. The future of energy is looking increasingly green. As we set our sights on what lies ahead, we find an expanse filled with the promise of innovation and progress. Renewable energy has been a rising star in the realm of power generation, and it's only set to shine brighter. Emerging technologies are holding out the promise of even more efficient ways to harness the power of nature. Take tidal power, for instance. It's a renewable source of energy that taps into the ebb and flow of our oceans. With around 70% of the Earth's surface covered by water, the potential for tidal power is vast. Imagine harnessing the relentless rhythm of the seas, turning the ceaseless tides into a sustainable power source. Solar energy is another area where improvements are on the horizon. While we've made considerable strides in tapping into the sun's potential, there's still a long way to go. The solar panels of the future will be more efficient, more affordable, and more integrated into our daily lives. Picture a world where every rooftop, every window, even our clothing could harness the power of the sun. But let's not forget, technology is only half the battle. The shift towards renewable energy also requires policy support and public awareness. Governments around the world need to provide the regulatory framework and incentives to foster the growth of renewable energy. Every one of us has a role to play in this transformation. By choosing renewable energy, we're not just making a choice for ourselves, but for the planet and future generations. The journey towards a renewable future will be filled with challenges and opportunities. It will demand innovation and commitment. But the prize at the end is worth it. A world powered by clean, sustainable energy. The shift towards renewable energy is not just about technology, it's also about changing mindsets. And as we change our mindsets, we change our future. We move towards a world where energy is not just something we consume, but something we create sustainably and responsibly. Here's to a green future powered by renewable energy. So what should we take away from our journey through the history of renewable energy? Firstly, understanding the current state of energy consumption lays a solid foundation for the discourse. We realize that traditional energy sources, while having powered our societies for centuries, are finite and environmentally harmful. The burning of fossil fuels contributes massively to greenhouse gas emissions and thus to climate change. Then we embarked on the dawn of renewable energy, a shift towards harnessing the infinite energy of the wind, sun, and water. We saw how ancient civilizations used these resources, highlighting that the concept isn't new, but the technology to harness it effectively is. Fast forward to the rise of modern renewable energy technologies. The advancements made in the field are nothing short of remarkable. Solar panels have become more efficient and less costly. Wind turbines have grown in size and capacity. Hydroelectric power has proven to be a reliable source of energy, and geothermal energy, while niche, holds great potential. The progress made is commendable, but the journey doesn't end here. Looking into the future of renewable energy, we must acknowledge the challenges that lie ahead. Storage and distribution of renewable energy remain significant hurdles. Additionally, the transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy sources needs to be managed carefully to avoid economic disruptions. But these challenges are not insurmountable. With focused research, innovative solutions, and political will, we can overcome them. Throughout this journey, the importance of renewable energy in addressing environmental concerns and achieving a sustainable future has been underscored. It's clear that transitioning to renewable energy is not just an option, it's a necessity. In conclusion, the rise of renewable energy is a testament to human ingenuity and our ability to adapt and innovate. It's a story of progress, challenges, but most importantly, hope. The story of renewable energy is the story of our future, a future that is in our hands to shape.